Hi everyone, welcome to the website's meeting. We always begin this meeting with the introduction of our newest members. So I see Bhavya has joined us today. Bhavya, I'm assuming this is your first call, the first website's call you're attending.
Hey, yes, this is my first website call. Hey everyone,
Hi.
my name is Bhavya and I'm currently in sophomore year of my college, and I just started with contributing to this amazing community. So thanks for this.
Thank you, Bhavya. Welcome to the community.
करायला समजा तो ट्रेनर असतो तो ट्रेनर समजा तुम्हाला असं हा स्विमिंग टँक आहे आज इथं फक्त उभं करून कॉलेज म्हणजे काय स्विमिंग टँक बरोबर टीचर म्हणजे कोण तिथं ट्रेनर तुम्हाला ते
Okay, any other newcomer on the call today who wants to introduce themselves to everyone here? Siddesh, this is the first time you're attending this call, right? You can give a quick intro to everyone over here so that we can get familiar with you. Tell us from where you are, what brings you here. Yeah. We cannot hear you if you're trying to talk. So if you want to, just interrupt us as we go. Right. Any other newcomer on the call today? I don't see anyone else. Okay, so for everyone else on the call, I hope you've added your names to the meeting minutes. Bhavya, you can add your name here too. I think you'll have to make a suggestion. I'll accept it over here. Right, so with that, we can begin with the call today. So the first topic is the new service mesh pattern site. So Shubhra is on the call. Shubhra, would you like to take it over from here? Do you have any updates to the design that you want to show? Just to confirm, I am audible, right? Shubhra, are you with us? Or should I present the screen for you? I have it open here. For those who don't know what this is, we are trying to build a new website for service mesh patterns dedicated to only service mesh patterns. And Shubhra has taken up the initiative of designing this website from scratch. So we saw a part of his update last week, and it'll be a 4-page site for now. So I think we were yet to see the updates on the other pages. If Shubhra comes live, I think he can take it on from here.
Yes, I am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just share the screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the screen visible?
It is.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So I think Lee is not here, so I'll just continue. So this was the last week's update, which where I had done the homepage and a lot of inputs were given regarding the design, the first initial beginning of the design. So the first thing that was asked me to do was a footer. So Lee just gave these things to put in the footer, the resources section, and I had done the same. And regarding the newsletter, this is similar to the layer 5 design which we have, just is a mailing list because he mentioned putting mailing list. So I put, and I thought to put the icons of layer 5, Slack, etc., because I saw that these were present in Nighthawk or other websites also, regardless of, like, they're not having, like, they were redirected to the layer 5 only. So this can be taken advice upon from everybody. coming to the book chapters, this section is mostly inspired from the current book chapter which is there. So this is just expand and collapse view of the book chapter thing, basic one. Um, and here is a CTA for it in the end. If you suggest, then I can put it in the beginning also. And the categories will show up here. I don't know why it's not showing up here, but it was supposed to show up. Some pro diving issue, I think. Wait a minute. Uh, yeah, so it was it's like this. So not too much of scroll, but I thought that we can just also we can improvise on this, like how everybody wants it. Everybody has anybody has any inputs on it. So coming back to the thing regarding the author's page, I decided to go with the simple thing. This background was from the service mesh pattern only, and will with all the details and the links put up here, and layer 5 and a link to join these layer 5 Slack. So yeah, this was about. I had some doubts regarding that whether we if we come to this section, then as said that there was a fourth page, but I think it will be a fifth 5 page. So reviews, whether it be another page, or whether I think it would be good if we include the reviews in the home page, because it will just improve the impression of the book if we show good reviews in the home page maybe. Also here I had kept 2 pages regarding layer 5 and authors, but Lee said to make it 1 page. That is okay, but then we have to make it 1 page. So we can choose either of them. Maybe we can choose the author one, and we can show them the layer 5 in the bottom. Anything can be done. And pattern in action, this page is yet to be made by me. This is a mostly where we will be explaining Meshery and how how by reading service mesh patterns we can easily use Meshery, and we can try Meshery after reading service mesh pattern book. So I think this page is dedicated to that thing. And yeah, this is my update regarding this week. Yes.
So this is open for feedback for everyone on the call.
Yes.
So a couple of
I am
feedback from
posting the prototype link in the chat so that everyone can just have a look.
So a couple of feedback from my end.
Yes, a minute please. I'm just posting it. Okay. Yes.
You stop sharing.
Yes, because my Zoom window was not opening for some reason. Okay, wait, I'm again sharing. Yes.
Right. So on the second page, if you come to the second page,
yes,
I think the design has a lot of button-like things for nothing. Even the categories are like the main menus. Even the call out is a button. So I think a variation in a design will be good. Like the category need not be like the green button sort of design. It could be something else, since these are this is a drop down. If you click in the okay, great. So I think this will need a little bit of variation. More than too much green, it's like the same design for every part. The call out the call out can be a separate section, like doesn't have to be just a button. The call to action can, if you take a look at a couple of call to actions on the Layer5 website, it usually has like an image and maybe a caption to go with it, something like that, because this page will only have these like the index of the book.
you're speaking about this one, right? This.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The call to action could be a different design.
Okay.
And yeah, otherwise this is inspired from the current patterns page. So that's all right. But you can change the categories and the call to action over here.
Understood.
And about the reviews on the homepage, I think it's a good idea at the end of because right now the homepage doesn't have a lot of content. So if you're having a separate page for about the authors and about layer 5, then reviews on the homepage sounds like good to me. You can add images in the review section as well. Maybe
Yes.
images of the companies or the images of the author. Not the
Author or the
author.
readers or companies, anyone.
Yeah. So that is okay. And I think we lose a link from the navbar since you've merged two pages into one. Maybe you could add a link, like an anchor link to the homepage where we have the review section. Like you'll merge meet the authors and about layer 5, right? So if
Yes,
you
I'm thinking to like, I thinking that about layer 5 should come under meet the authors only, like when, because layer 5 is quite evident from everything. So maybe we can put the layer 5 in meet the authors, and we can put if reviews is another separate page. That is also a thing.
Okay, so that's all that comes to my mind as of now. Any other piece of feedback? Anyone else on the call? Feel free to, like, since this is a site we are designing from scratch, your inputs, like, please be critical about this.
On the chapters page, you can make the list like the one we have in the learning paths. Like I've shared the link. If you can open it.
Learn layer 5.
The learning paths. In the Layer 5 website, we
Okay.
have a list of courses and chapters. You can make it like them, the chapters.
Okay.
I've also shared a link, so it will be easier for you to look at it.
In the chat you have shared?
Yeah, in the chat
Okay.
I've shared the link.
There's another piece of feedback by Lee on chat. So a separate section for technical reviewers on the about page. I think we lost Shubhra. Is he here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just checking this thing. Link.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
What section? Okay, in the chat it is now.
Reserve a spot for technical reviewers, distinct from reviewers on the about page.
Okay.
Any other feedback for Shubhra? Right. So I think by the end of this week, we'll have at least two of these pages ready. Patterns in action is something that you have to work on. And I think we talked about it in the last call about adding the mobile views in the design as well.
Oh, that thing completely went off my mind. Yes, that thing will be done. I completely forgot.
Okay, and one more thing in the footer, I think like the proportion of the content in the footer is not like, I think on the two sides of it, it's too empty. And in between, we have a long list of resources. We could spread it out a little bit.
Yes.
We could add
That-
a link to the discussion forum. I don't think it's there. Like, doesn't have to be just resources, right? We can add other links over here as well.
okay.
Just spread it out a little bit. Right now, like the middle part of it looks too concentrated with content.
I'll just reduce the side padding. The side padding, I'll reduce it, then it will become like.
Okay, no, it's still like what I'm saying is we only have like resources, a big chunk of links only under resources.
Yes.
We'll also need links to the discussion forum and other sorts of link as well. Like on the layer 5 side, we have different categories of items in the footer, right? So maybe not all of them, but right now this looks a little bit disproportionate to me. Like
Yes, then I have to like reduce the padding. Then like if I reduce the padding, then space will come, and then we can have another set of thing like this.
Okay. Yeah. So just spread it out a little.
Yes. Okay. Also, add any links if it has to be added in the footer, then I can make it accordingly. Or just mark the website. Like I saw that there is a different in um like community solutions and company. These three words in layer 5 and Meshery and Nighthawk also had similar, but I did not know which one to put it here. So that was the thing. I think resources and getting started will be there, I think, and community maybe.
Under patterns, you can have a brief description of what patterns are.
Description. Okay.
All right. Any other piece of any other feedback for Shubhra?
There are a couple of
Sudesh?
in the chat. I will just note them down.
Yeah, there's one from Sudesh in the chat that's worth mulling over. And yeah.
Okay, so another thing is this design will be ready by this week, I'm hoping.
Yes.
Once signal on the website's channel, once it's ready, it's reviewed and it's approved. And I think a couple of people volunteered on the last call to take this forward. And Nikhil has initiated the site as well. So we can assign different components to different people who wants to take it up. The footer to someone, the banner to someone. So like for people on the call, if you can add your names in if you want to volunteer to this, I'll create issues later on after this call maybe, or once the design is approved and it's finalized for the different components, and you can take it forward from there. We can assign it to different people. So if you want, you can add your names in the meeting minutes itself over here. If you have any preference of the components you want to do or something you've already started working on, please add your names over here, and I'll assign you in the issues that I'll create.
And then did you guys already cover Nikhil's recent efforts on getting the site and the repository initialized?
Not yet. Nikhil, talk about it right now.
So we have, like, I opted for Gatsby instead of plain React to have the basic framework for the site. As of now, the site is hosted on just a sec. Okay. Yeah, basically using the domain provided by GitHub to host the site because we don't have a domain registered separately for service mesh patterns. But yeah, it is using Gatsby as the basic framework since it require, like I saw we have multiple pages and there's no much of a moving things around or such, and Gatsby is best for static sites as such is what I'm saying, because otherwise we would have anyways used pagination for the different pages that we have, and compared to React Router, I see using Gatsby or Next.js is much better to use, separate creating pages as such, like the simplicity of creating a pages folder and creating each JS pages for each page. So yeah, we have the Gatsby side, the framework ready, similar to what we have for Layer 5 report. That is, divided the code into sections and components. We have the SEO component as well to take care of the SEO part, which would use React Helmet to add the necessary headers and stuff. We have all the things in place with the workflows already implemented. Just to tokens need to be added, and we will have all the things up and running. The designs are the only thing which are left as such. Once those are complete, I think we should be up and going with the PRs coming in a day or so for each page. That's it. If anyone wants to take a look at the code, it is under the site directory at this repo.
Thank you, Nikhil. Uh, There are a couple of volunteers on chat. If you guys could please add it in the meeting minutes as well, it'll be very helpful. Otherwise, I'll take a look at chat and add it in later. Okay.
They have already volunteered for 2 sections. Like the Navbar, I think it is fine, and the hero section as well for the pitch. So I've asked them to one of like Palak to take the Navbar and Bhavya to take the hero section. Considering there are reviews for later section, once those are complete, people can take up further. So, though it is still better to add it in the meeting notes to give it a better track of things.
Yeah, on those same lines, as one thing that I've found helpful is that a lot of times people might overlook meeting minutes, and while they're looking in the designs, if it makes sense, you might list people's names toward a section. Not everyone that signs up completes their work, or different things happen, they get busy or what have you, but sometimes that'll help with avoiding duplicative work. But yeah, Palak, Bhavya, Kamal has raised his hand. Nikhil's name is there implicitly. And yeah, I can't imagine that if, as the pages get done and some of the work is split out, I imagine there's any number of folks on the call that'll probably put their hands on it somewhere. Maybe it's just a small portion, maybe it's just a bug fix or something, but since we're talking about it as much as we are, I suspect, yeah, people will. But this will be one of the most complete book websites that I've seen. They're usually just like a page and they've got a couple of sections, and if it has more than 3 sections, it's like a highly curated page. It's like a very well done book page. So this, yeah, I'm not sure if people will know what to think. Wait a second. Is this the exciting part for me is like the inactions page, which I'm really hoping reinforces other work that you all have done with respect to, some of you have written or will write blog posts about patterns or designs or things that you can do with Meshery. Some of you have worked on the Meshery catalog, and where do you keep sort of living patterns? Because those designs evolve over time, probably in the catalog. You get to share them there. And so any number of you have worked on the catalog and are still working on that meshery.io/catalog. So it'll reinforce that. It'll reinforce work that you've done in Meshery UI. It'll it's nice because it ends up tying a lot of things together. Maybe you've worked on Nighthawk, or like their patterns for performance. Their patterns for basically all the things that you all have covered. So yeah. So I'm excited for media that we don't seem to. It's funny because we do a lot of video. Most of you, about half of you have your webcams on right now. That's fantastic. It's really nice to interchange with you all. And so video is certainly something that we highly encourage and use. It's just that, and it works very well for our community and for people understanding if Lee's just kidding, or if he's trying to make a terrible joke, or if he's actually upset, or what's going on with Lee. Like, that's hard to decipher sometimes. And but we don't seem to use too much video for showing off the works that you all have done, like showing off. Meshery is the biggest one, but and all of the things inside of Meshery actually. And so we get a bad score on that, and that's a hindrance to adoption. Meshery.io should really have more video. Anyway, so that's why I'm excited about the actions page, because I think we'll get a video clip or a couple of animated GIFs, things that are short recordings of how patterns work. So it's good.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
so yeah, actually, since it's been a while, I'm sorry, since I've asked, that is just on the off chance that any of you are into video editing with Premiere or After Effects or iMovie, but if you're if that's an area of comfort for you, then there's a lot of things to do. So.
So Shubhra, another thing, like Lee mentioned, you can add GIFs and screenshots from Meshery as well on the patterns in action page. So just a note, you can add it to Figma.
Yes, I was given a couple of content by Lee, so I will add those in the patterns and action page too. It's basically, I think that after reading the book, how people will use the Meshery website or the application. So that is more regarding it. So I will make it like that only.
Okay.
I had one small query. This thing. A second, 1 minute, please.
Okay, Sahil is not on the call, right? Can Aditya or Zen, one of you, ping Sahil? He has a agenda item.
Okay, so which of these portions will be keeping? Like this one, Devopriya has said, but other than this, any other portions are there, like resources, community, or is there already resources, but community solutions, these portions will be keeping. Also regarding these social icons, I have just kept random, just checking, surveying out the Nighthawk. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So quick clarification regarding this would be good because
Sure. Yeah. Which ones to include and which ones to, yeah. Right. Yep. They definitely, there'll be some overlap, but a lot of underlap as well. And so two of the, just very quick, we'll write down the list, but very quickly, two of the ones that Deborah Priya had mentioned, the discussion forum and the Slack. Those are two that are great to call out first class as being resources to people.
yes, those are also in the CTAs.
Oh, nice.
And link to the projects as well. Meshery, MeshMap.
Yes, that thing can be done.
All right. So thank you, Shubhra. Let's move on to the next topic now. Sahil is not here. Zain will ping him. I'll just quickly show some of my topics over here. So so for the events thing that I was assigned to, like for hosted events, for now I've just added a form over here itself. But for like a hosted events, do we need a separate template for this? Like I have added like a front matter field, like to distinguish between which ones are the ones we want the form to show up on. And we'll probably do one event at a time, one upcoming event at a time. So I have also, I think I was successful in doing the make side of things as well. Aditya or Nikhil, you can check it out if I missed out on anything, but it's working. I like the emails and everything is working. Just for the design, like, is it as simple as the form, or do we need a separate layout for our self-hosted events?
Yeah, looks good to me. Or I don't think so. If that's confusing, like that looks great. And I don't know that we would need to necessarily capture anything else for an event. If you wanted to get fancy or if someone wanted to change it, it might be as you register that you'd also register like a +1 or a +2, just a guest that you might be bringing. But that doesn't really, for our virtual events, like a workshop that we might hold virtually, it wouldn't really change anything for us. It isn't very helpful, and you're not asked for information about that guest. So It might be that, oh, did you want to receive a free copy of one of the books that we've written? But even then, that doesn't really, we don't know. I think changing it would only make it more complex. Like it's really like if we want to send them a free book based on the fact they registered for a service mesh centric workshop, then we should just send it to them. And if they're upset with us for sending them a free book, then oops. But it otherwise it's actually works out very well that the form here that you're showing is verbatim for, I think it's all the same fields. This might be the same, but it's like one or two less fields than the other instances where we've used the form. That uniformity, how many times can I say form in one sentence? That uniformity makes things sustainable, and it reduces bugs. And it makes it such that you as a single, where it used to take 2 or 3 of us, Deborah Priya stepped up and did the form, the back end processing for the form, and then the email or 2 that goes out based on the form coming through. So, and that's made possible because, well, it wasn't too much of a lift. It wasn't too heavy of a lift for you to do the form, since there weren't a lot of special considerations. So the less considerations we can make, probably the better.
So for the MailChimp part of it, we'll have to change like the emails for every event, right? Because we'll send out email specific. But I think you mentioned that we'll host events like once a month, so that'll be okay. So I'm yet to create a customer journey because I don't have an email yet. But once we have an event, we can start with that, and later on we can do that.
Nice. So by the way, that's just for some of you that are on the call, you're like, oh, we just mentioned MailChimp. We just quickly said make or make.com. So let me explain a little bit of this real briefly, because I don't think a lot of you have necessarily heard this before. There are other areas of contribution open to you. There are any number of communities that talk about non-code contributions as being important, and they are. And there are many such things here. I'll submit to you, maybe more than any organization that looks like Layer5, things are more open things are pretty open. And that's to say that there's work that goes on for crafting emails, when to send them, what they look like, what they should say. The terrible tool that we've chosen for that is MailChimp. And so there are a couple of MailChimp accounts that there's, I don't know, between the 2 of them, there's probably 4,000 people signed up. They're tagged in different ways. Yash has been helping curate those lists. So there's work that goes on in there. If that is of interest to you, talk to Deborah Priya. We use, so some of you may or may not be wondering how it is that a static content site that's run on GitHub pages like Layer5 is actively processing a form. Doesn't that take like a server-side process listening to that to, geez, it's early in the morning, so I can only think of the word process again. There, fine, I said it. There needs to be another process to process the form. And so, yep, the CNCF has given us a Zapier account that could be used for such things. We use Zapier for other things. We've been using Integromat or make.com to do server-side processing and some simple workflow, which is pretty neat. And so there's work that goes on in there, or there's a fair bit of work that goes on in there. Deborah Priya can tell you that, and Nikhil can tell you, and Aditya can tell you. And there's a list of folks who've worked on these. And there's more to be done. As a matter of fact, there's something very explicitly to be done there in Meshery Cloud. When you go to sign up, right now you can just click on one of 4 social authentication buttons. We need to be able to receive someone's email address and password as an option if they want to use an email address and password, or if they want to do a social sign up. Either way, our issue is that we don't have back-end processing for receiving an email address or a password. Well, while we wait on some of the gophers that are contributing to catch up, perhaps we could process this using Make instead, make.com. Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of places to, the workshop that, the learning paths that Yash had pointed out, the workshop that Debapriya was showing, those are the content within there. Those are areas of need. So we have workshops that we give at a lot of different conferences that we give through O'Reilly on Istio and Linkerd, but not for the rest. Depends you, Debapriya, but she's writing an article on, as a matter of fact, that's another great example, is there's articles to be written. So depends you Bisha is just got done. She's in draft, and actually Srinivas is on the call. Srinivas Kesha has put together. I haven't said her name aloud before, so it's tough. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry to interject again. I just wanted to say, oh, wait, what are these insiders talking about? I don't know what they're talking about. It's like, well, actually, it's not inside stuff. It's like, it's just, we don't talk about it as much. It's that there isn't as much work that goes on there. And if you don't think that they want help on those things, then you're mistaken. Like they want help on those things. So, cool.
Okay. So, talking about resources and blogs, one more thing is Nikhil recently made a rotational framework for call to actions, and I have added, like, for all the collections that we have on the blogs page, I've added the Meshery Docker extension callout, because in the about the author section we have the MeshMap callout, and for resources we have I think, yeah, the MeshMap. Wait, this is blog, right? The MeshMap call out over here as well. So there are two more. This is the call to action bottom one, which is common for all the collections, but we could also customize call outs in between the content. So there are two more. There's one image only and there's one full width call out. So how to put them to use is, you can link to other articles. Maybe this one is managing containers. I think Ashish is writing a blog post on multi-cluster support for Meshery. So he doesn't have to include everything about, say, what is a multi-cluster and everything from scratch. He can just go on the Meshery part and he can link to this using that call out. So Srinivas, and if any one of you here as well, if you are writing blogs, reviewing someone who's written a blog or anything like that, make sure you use this call outs. It'll just increase the internal linking within the site and it looks pretty as well. So yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to bring up. There's a well-written, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt again. But the edification for me, well, boy, I just missed it, Debapriya. Did you say that, like, that call to action at the bottom of the page, that that someone who creates an article like this, that they need to consider adding a tag, or that it will be automatically added for them?
This one is automatically added for all the posts. But if they want to add some other call to actions, they'll have to add it in. They don't have to import it or anything. Just in the blog MDX folder, they can call the component and add it in.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. It's that easy. Okay. And so Nikhil and you and others had recently put together this framework for easy like creation and sort of easy insertion of call to actions in the articles and the blog posts. And the reason that you've done that is not only so that there's kind of a uniform framework and things become a little bit easier to insert, but so that these actions can be rotated over time centrally without having to go to every single page and update every single page to change what that is that, no doubt we've got small instructions inside the contributor guide now about how that's done. And just on the wee off chance that maybe that isn't there, I thought I would call it out as
set of instructions, which
okay.
very well written.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should go read. All right. Okay. Sounds good.
So, yeah, that was all from me. Is Sahil on the call now? Lee, do you have a link to the design he was working on? Like the Figma link?
Yeah. Let me, yeah. So Sahil Suman, maybe. Yeah, Suman. Sahil Suman was, well, he was working on a different area of the Layer5 website. So the portion that he was working on has to do with integrations that Meshery has. And so on the Meshery, it's probably fairly small. And I apologize that you can't resize things in Figma like this anyway. But on the Meshery project page, here is a link to integration. There's a couple of integration pages that he was working towards. So here's the Meshery project pages. There were initially about 3 of them, just kind of one that's an overview of the project, and one on like how it works or how to install it, how it works, what all it does, mobile views for those. Then we worked, a bunch of you worked on, like Superdip worked on the Docker extension for Meshery, which has been really popular, by the way. Docker sends us on a weekly basis, sends us how many people are freshly, how many new users there are for the extension and how many return users there are. There's been a nice spike, a big spike of people trying out Meshery because of that. So for Sahil Suman, he's been working on these integration pages, to let people know that Meshery integrates with Kubernetes and Helm and all these service meshes. And one of the things that I don't know that he has accounted for yet is kind of this request here about outside of having buttons that operate as filters for filtering out specific categories of integrations, that another way of looking at this would be by just sorting all of them, probably by default by most popular, and then so it could be a drop down or something. So there's an overview page that he's worked on for what all those integrations look like, and hopefully it's somewhat interactive and a bit more sleek than some of the other pages you find elsewhere. If a user clicks on an individual integration and wants to learn more, well, this is more of an active draft area that he's been working through and getting feedback on. And so,
do we need that grid thing on the individual pages as well? Like he's added in all the 3.
if we do, it could be that kind of like at the end of looking at a blog post, that it might say related blog posts. And so if I think the first answer to your question is no, we don't necessarily have to have it. If we can't think of anything else, or if it's a very short page, maybe we would include it. And if you did, it could be just show you integrations that are of the same category, like related integrations. So if you were looking at Istio here, then it might show you the other integrations with other service meshes. But no, it doesn't have to be. Ooh, video. Cool. Does anyone else feel like this might lean I mean, I hate to say it about the green color, but like a little more of a puke green, like it's not quite there, but it has some aspects and sort of, I don't know, just some. Thank goodness Hill isn't here. We can't be throwing up on his designs. Anyway, Deborah Priya, was that about? So, Kamal, were you the other individual that was doing a bit of collaboration here? I don't remember. But anyway, he has asked for some assistance or feedback on the designs. So comments are welcome. You just press the letter C and you turn into comment mode. Wait, hold on. Oh, see see how much people appreciate comments? You just, oh. Okay, all right.
Okay, so next up, we have updates from the catalog by Aditya.
Yeah, I'll just do a quick update. So recently there were some changes on the catalog page. I listed all of them in this PR. And yeah, and currently we also working on making the catalog model of this model use flexbox styling, which Rohit is working. I think he has to compare all of his assigned tasks. And yeah, that's a quick update. Like, these are the list of changes that were added recently. And another thing that I think Rohit is also working on is the responsiveness of the site. Yeah, there's some wacky thing going on here. So yeah, that was it. That was just a quick update I wanted to give. So if anyone has any suggestions or any fault that they see from these listed out changes, then they can sure open an issue or ping me in website channel.
Any feedback right now?
Chatterjee, what else are we missing on the catalog?
I don't know. I think that covers pretty much of it. We just need more patterns. Like we should start getting rid of more of the coming soon and actually have working patterns there.
And we have a uniform framework for the download button and the copy link button in terms of.
Yeah, in terms of the download, you have to upload your own pattern file to a folder, and yeah, that's how the download would work. And for the copy URL, you just enter whatever the URL is in the .md file.
Okay, there's a modal for that gives people instructions as to how to do that. Is that done?
There's a modal there's a modal that explains how you're supposed to import your patterns to the Meshery UI and through Meshery CTL. But the other one is just a set of instructions. It's not a modal.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should probably be sharing when we talk about that. Let's just look real quick. I was mentioning this catalog earlier in context of the Service Mesh Patterns book site. And so if people go here and they look at a pattern, this is where they could get more, they can literally get access to the pattern. If someone wanted to add, so this, yeah, this is still here. And if someone wanted to add it, and then we don't have a click away listener yet. So I think Rohit is maybe working on some of those. But if they wanted to add, okay, add yours to the catalog, so we create a new issue. So they're creating an issue, not, okay. So we're telling people to create an issue to add it to the catalog, but I think you're saying they can upload them This is how to import them and use them in Meshery. And you can do it using the UI. So Chatterjee, we've been over a few of these bugs.
Yeah,
Can you
this is a
click that?
Safari specific bug. If you click on it, it works, but the thumbnail is short for some reason. It's small for some reason.
And the white here, and yeah, whether it's Safari or not, or I mean, yeah. So there's a few items to. Do you know who's following up on those?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Shubhadeep.
Manik is doing that model thing for the video thing. Manik Malhotra, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. And then keep going.
And then for the issue, like here, when you click on add yours to the catalog, it opens an issue. Yeah, I was actually planning to add a set of instructions to the README and link it to there instead, so that, like you had suggested, so that people can go ahead and put in their patterns instead of them opening up an issue for the maintainers to take a look at.
It might be nice if there was some symmetry between the two links, where this one opens a modal, maybe this one would open a modal as well, that would do more or less take that same description that you would have in the README and say, hey, you know, patterns or new designs are always welcome, to get yours listed, such and such. It doesn't have to give the entire explanation, but it just sort of a brief instruction, or be letting people know that there's the process involves making a PR, and here's a link to create a new issue.
Okay.
Nice. Wow, what is this all about? Yeah, somebody was playing around with CSS. All right. Good. So is all of that covered? That last bit that we just talked about? Who's doing that?
I'll do that today.
Oh, okay. I think that covers it.
Okay, Leonard, I think I found a bug for the search component. Since you're on the call, I thought I pointed out to you directly. So if we are on one of these pages, like anything apart from one, and then when you search for something, it gives you a blank page and everything goes away. So this is something you can take a look at. If not directly, you can create an issue for this. Maybe someone else can take a look. Okay. Next up, from Meshery UI, Shubhadeep, you can go next. You want to share your screen?
Yes. Am I audible? Okay. Let me show so my screen is visible. Hello.
Yeah, but there's a lot of.
Yeah, hey, Subrata. You and the rest of the city have joined. Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, so I was working on this design page, Meshery design page card. So I have created the PR last 2 or 3 days back. Yash already reviews this, but I'm waiting for the review that's others one. Okay, so this is the current situation of this card. So this is working fine. Actually, there is no data, so that's why it's not showing anything. It's just have some buttons and just flip card. So any review for this one?
Right, I can show the card you have made. I've used it in my PR, so let me share my screen. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So I think this is the card you made, right? It just misses the design patterns icon, and I've used it in one of my PRs I'm working on. This is the patterns page, and modal. I don't know what bug is this. It was working fine an hour ago, I guess. And I've also added the list here. And I've also worked on the applications page. I'm keeping applications page on hold right now because there's also a lot of work going on in the master branch. So it's pretty much the same. And the one thing we can't find is a code mirror. We have to use code mirror is a library we have been using in the master branch, but it doesn't work with the React 17. We tried looking into the I think code mirror. This package, but it doesn't work well. I tried it, but it only shows the white blank page. It doesn't pick the modern theme. So I don't think we can use it. So we need a replacement for the this package. And I have also worked on the settings page dropdown. I don't have it working right now, but this is the screenshot you might be interested. And Hakirat worked on the cards of the life cycle page. Just a thing I wanted to ask everyone is currently is using a sample data like this, but in the master branch we are using filtered off. So should we merge it with a sample, or first should we make the filtered ops? Reviews, suggestions.
Yeah, Yash, I wasn't able to keep up necessarily. There's one, this is a side note. There's one, as the card is initially drawn, it seems that the full screen icon wants to display first, just as you initially load the page. I don't know if that's something within your control or not. Yeah, it didn't do it just then. Well, not that I could see. But so anyway. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know that I've got great. I don't know. We definitely need a theme because like the colors of the buttons are fine, but not those, but the grid and table. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reviewing that theme. So you'll facilitate that at some point soon, very soon. Did we cover dark mode on the Layer5 IO site on today's call?
No, I think because there's nothing to show now. But, it's ready to a review. The last change of the that we have to set the default theme as a dark. It's also being done now and ready for review in the latest PR. So yeah.
Okay. So we're pretty much there. Okay. It might be time to merge and have light mode as the default. Give the dark mode some time to work out some of its, whatever remaining kinks it may or may not have, or just to help other people get their eyeballs on it in advance of potentially switching to dark mode as the default. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I will set it to white. I just have to change one line for it. Then it will be ready.
Nice. The video that's on the main page, I wonder, it has a white background. I wonder how that looks in dark mode. I haven't looked yet. Yeah. This is Yash. I didn't mean to cut off your review there. We were low on time and I wasn't sure that. Yeah. But Yash, where can I find the theme, or how can I start reviewing? He might have stepped away. Maybe I'll chase him down.
Right. Okay, and Harshit, I think we'll have to go over the instructions that you set up. That will need some work because since like the entire theme is changing, we'll have to be very clear about how to like take care of the conventions. So it has to be very clear. The last time I reviewed, it wasn't that clear. We'll have to be a little more elaborate and give examples wherever possible. Like for the SVG point, I don't know if I haven't reviewed today. For the SVG point, like the second point, I think we'll have to show exactly how to use different SVGs, how to fill the colors and everything. So I can sit with you if you need any help, or once you're done with like the final version from your end, just ping me again. I'll directly commit maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, I think I changed that the whatever you said in your Slack. Also, I think that Aditya also suggested some changes in that. I changed some of them. I set an example also there in a, I think in 3 of them. And a Gatsby, I think we need more examples. But yes, okay, we will look at that again.
Okay. Great. Then I think we've covered all the topics for today. Right. Thank you all for joining today. We'll see you all next week. We're 6 minutes over time. So thank you for staying back as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Devya. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye
Deborah.
bye.